All right. First, let me remind you a little bit, several things, get you updated. First, I extend the project by 1 week. So currently the deadline is November the 5th, next Wednesday, okay, November the 5th. So focus on the midterm, yeah. So don't worry about the project. After you complete the midterm, then you can work on the remaining part of the project. Yeah, that's the first thing. Second thing, regarding the midterm, remember, I told you before, but let me just remind you another time. We split part A, part B, okay? Part A as quiz number 4. We will do it online. Yeah. So part A, 10 questions. The quiz format, 10 concept questions. So you have more time to do online. Yeah. So you can, delete that part. Part B, 15 query questions. Then you need to do in class. Okay. So on Thursday, the same time here, when you have 75 minutes, so you only work on 15 query questions. Okay. 15, I split 2 databases. The first half, 7 questions. First half, 7 questions on that Northwind database. Second half, 8 questions on that company database. And you can use your laptop, okay? You can use a laptop, working on your databases. Yeah. W3 schools, you can access, you can do testing if you want. Yeah. But a laptop, you can access course materials, do online queries, that's legal, yeah. But you cannot do online search, okay? You cannot use any online tools, AI tools, search engines to help you find the answers, right? Yeah, so that's not, you cannot use communication software, emails, to send messages and read messages, right? Yeah. So that's the basic rules. Thursday. Yeah. The quiz number 4 I will post after you finish part B query. After part B, when you get home, so I will post at home, right? Yeah. Very late Thursday night, but you have the deadline I set end of Sunday, okay? So you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to complete part A, okay? Yeah. Quiz number 4, yeah. All right, so that's the updates. Oh, one student, Ilya. Ilya just joined us. Yeah. All right, 2 more students, Logan and Ilya join us. Now let's start. R.1, select questions in 3 quizzes. Yeah. I selected 4 questions. Yeah. Explain. The first one, question number 5 of quiz 1. So this is quiz 1 question. Yeah, several students missed this one. The answer, so here, the question, do we have to start a web server? The answer is no. Yeah. So here, because JavaScript code, the web browser can run it, okay? Yeah, web browser. And we double click the HTML file containing JavaScript code, then the web browser opens it up, and the web browser on your local computer can display all the features in your HTML file, okay? All the JavaScript functionalities you can use. The web browser provides you the programming environment for JavaScript code. So you don't need any server, okay? Yeah, so some basic knowledge. Actually, think about, so when you do your programming project number 1, you didn't use any server, right? Yeah, because you just double click your HTML file, then you do drag and drop. Yeah. Also, I give you the drag and drop example. We didn't use any server. Yeah. So you just recall your example. Yeah. So this is one question. The second one, yeah. All right. We use this function, parse int. Yeah. The parameter is a string containing both digits and non-digit characters mixed. But here I didn't tell you how to mix them, right? Yeah. Digits, non-digit characters, in what order? I didn't tell you the order information. That means any order could happen. Okay? So you need to consider all the possibilities. Yeah. Yeah. So at the beginning, the string could start with a non-digit character, or in the middle somewhere, any position. It always extracts all the digits. So the first one is false, yeah? Because the digit after non-string character won't be extracted. Only the digits before the first non-digit character, all those digits before the first non-digit character are extracted. Yeah. If after just the one non-digit character, then cannot be extracted. Never extracts, or also false. Well, never, yeah, it can, yeah, the digits before the first non-digit character can be extracted. So false. So sometimes it can extract all digits. Well, yeah. If all the digits are before the non-digit characters, then all the digits are extracted, right? And sometimes it cannot extract. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, because, let's say, let me give you an example. String 357A, ABCDA, 8, 9, like that. Okay, so 357 can be extracted, but A9 cannot be extracted. Yeah, because after one non-digit character cannot be extracted, throw away, truncated. Okay, yeah. Like that. Yeah, yeah. So that's this question. Yeah. Then this is quiz number 2. Quiz number 2, I only took one question. The answer, a pair of single quotes. Yeah. But many students select, got confused, double quotes. Okay. Yeah. Because here I ask you for the SQL standard. Okay. SQL standard. So single quotes, that's the SQL standard. Double quotes are not a SQL standard. Okay. Yeah. So not officially SQL standard, but why it still works? Yeah. But supported by DBMS. Okay. Yeah. So it works. Yeah. It works, but not standard. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because because many people like to use this way to represent string. So DBMS do not want to reject it. Okay. Yeah. Do not want to reject it. Yeah. Yeah. Then the DBMS internally, the DBMS will do the conversion. Okay. So if you use double quotes represent string, after insertion, DBMS convert it to single quote. Okay. Yeah. Automatic conversion. Yeah. But if you look at, the data stored inside your database, or because later you need to export, right? Yeah. Yeah. When you consider exporting your databases, so all your data will be represented in SQL statements. Then you will see all the strings are included in a pair of single quotes, not double quotes. Yeah, because that's the standard way. That's the difference. Yeah. For that reason, many students couldn't separate. Okay, well, both ways work, and the double quotes way pretty popular. Yeah, then they select the double quote option. Yeah, it's different. Okay, it's different. Yeah. All right. So that's this question. Then this one is select from quiz number 3. Yeah, quiz number 3. Question A. So here, the thing, so many students miss this one, primary key. Oh, sorry, I should draw here. Yeah, I need to say a little more about the primary key. First, the answer is false. Yeah. I remember in class, I talk about this. Yeah. So here, every SQL table must have, not a must, all right? Sometimes they have, sometimes they do not have. So primary key so as to be useful in a real, yeah, we know it's useful, but the question is, sometimes a SQL table may contain duplicate rows, right? When it contains duplicate, how can you use primary keys, right? Yeah. So because the primary key in that situation, it does not exist when a table contains duplicate rows. Okay, yeah. But later we have another question related to auto increment. Yeah, so I noticed many students got problems. So I will explain that auto increment primary key. Yeah, it's a special way to identify the rows. Yeah, even the table contain duplicate rows. We can use the auto increment primary key to identify those rows. Yeah, so that's the question in our so in our next topic. I will talk about that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I explained this question. Yeah. So the remaining part I will delay to that question number 15 of homework assignment number 1. Yeah. All right. Then the next topic. Yeah. Select questions in homework assignment 1. Concept questions. Question from 1 through 15. Yeah. All right. The first question, this one. Yeah. When we use data through, in order to always need to use the meta. Oh yeah, here. Why this one? Most of the students miss this one because there is one problem. So when you read a statement, because you missed the important part, through certain DBMSs. Okay? Here I didn't say what kind of DBMSs. That means any DBMS is allowed. We need to consider. Okay, yeah. So there are 2 types, right? Yeah, 2 types. First, relational. So that's our main topic. The second, no SQL, no SQL. Okay, yeah, 2 types. So this question, you should not miss this one. Most of you missed this one. So you assume relational DBMS by default. Yeah. Then, yeah, if you use relational DBMS, then you need to use metadata. But no SQL for this special type of database, DBMSs, there is no metadata, right? No metadata. Yeah, because all the data in the format key value pairs. Yeah, the simple format, JSON format. Yeah, JSON format. Yeah. Then you don't need metadata to describe your data. Okay, because that format is simple. Yeah, so everybody knows it. Yeah, so use that standard format. Yeah. So this question, yeah, don't forget, so that although small portion, yeah, but also important. Yeah. So, yeah, that's this one. Yeah. So false. Then for this one, I put together because you need to compare them. Yeah. If you connect these two, yeah, because something, if you do not connect, you may have contradiction. Yeah, you may have contradiction. Okay. Yeah. When we design data normalization process must be implemented. So here the problem is must be implemented. Okay. That caused the problem. Yeah. If we remove all the redundancy, yeah, this all the redundancy. Yeah. Another place you could have problem, so that data query is more efficient. So here the problem is several things. First, not a must. Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes it's impossible to implement data normalization. Yeah. Yeah. Impossible to make it happen. Yeah. Too hard. Okay. Remove all the redundancies. Too hard. Okay. That's one. So you cannot remove all the redundancies. Yeah. All right. So although you try to minimize the redundancy, right? Yeah. Try to minimize, but completely remove too hard. So that's one aspect. Another aspect, some redundancies can help you improve the efficiency, right? So that's from the second question. Is it possible certain redundancy business could help you reduce response time, right? Yeah. So make your queries run faster. Also, so yes, all right. So the second question also provides you some information to help you answer the first question. Yeah, because if it is helpful, helping you improve the performance, you like to use the redundancy, right? So you like to use it. You don't want to remove that good redundancy, right? Helpful redundancy. Yeah, so that's why you need to, look at these two questions together to help you answer. Yeah. So false, true. Yes. Yeah. If you say true after you see the second one, then you need to change the answer, right? Yeah, because all removed, but here it help you reduce response time, right? Yeah. So then you should go back to change that. Yeah. All right. That's these two questions. Next. Yeah, this one. This another one you missed a lot. Here, let me explain. Yeah. The correct answer is B. Correct answer is B. Yeah. For other answers, I give partial credit. Okay, partial credit. So yeah, let me see. Partial credit. Yeah. A 2 points. D also 2 points. C 1 point. Okay. Yeah. Partial credit like that. In that way. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Option 2, control redundancy for consistency. This is most important because this requirement guarantees your business data is consistent. It's correct. Correctness. That's the most important. Okay. It's more important than the performance of your queries. Yeah. So think about if you have some very fast queries, but the query result is incorrect, then it's bad, right? Yeah. But the other case, if your query performance relatively slower, but your result is correct, right? your result, that is more important, right? Yeah. So your customers' experience not very good because a little slow, but at least the result is correct, right? Yeah. In the other case, your customer get the data very fast, but it's a wrong data. Which one is worse? Definitely the wrong data is worse, right? Yeah. So at least you want to get correct data. Yeah. So the option number 2 guarantees the data is correct. The business data is correct. Okay. So that's the first priority. Then second priority, performance. Yeah. Under the condition of the first priority, then you want your queries as fast as possible. Then the storage space has the lowest priority. Yeah, because the data storage, the cost, very, very cheap. Okay. Yeah. So we can use more storage space to store the secondary data, supporting data, to make our query performance faster. Yeah. So that's the order. Okay. Yeah. So other orders, so you have some problems. Yeah. So not the best one. So I give partial credit in that way. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's the homework assignment number 1. Next, number 2. R.3. Selected questions in homework assignment number 2. Yeah. The first one, this one. Yeah. I noticed many students missed this question. Answer is false. I remember I talked about it in class. Yeah. In class, I talk about the Java way, PHP way. I talk about 2 different ways. Yeah, probably you, those students. Yeah. So they couldn't connect to the notes. Yeah. So they're different. Yeah. So this way is the Java way. Okay. 2 sets of interfaces for programmers and database vendors. That's the Java way, not the PHP way. Okay. Yeah. Java uses this way. Yeah. Yeah. Because the Java team, they felt this way more efficient. Yeah. Because they can use when you write the code, you do not need to change Java class and the Java methods when you switch to DBMS. You can keep the same Java classes, same Java methods. You only change other parts. Yeah. So I give you the part you need to change in the Java case. Okay. Like the account information, because when you connect to remote DBMS, you need to have username, password, right? Account information. Yeah. URL, right? You need to provide a URL. You need to change. Another thing is database driver. Yeah. When you switch to different DBMS, then you need to use the database driver for that DBMS. Another thing to change. Then third thing you need to change, the query statements for different DBMS. You may need to change query statements. Non-trivial. Yeah. That part relatively hard. Yeah. So you need to do testing one by one. Okay. Yeah. Make the change one by one testing. Yeah. The remaining part you do not need to change. Yeah. That's the Java way. PHP way is different. Yeah. PHP way, for different DBMS, a different set of functions need to be created by the PHP people, PHP team. Yeah. They need to, for MySQL, they need to write code for MySQL queries. Yeah. For Oracle, they need to write a code for another set of functions for Oracle queries. Yeah. For Microsoft, SQL Server, yeah, another set of functions for Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, yeah. So when you do change, you need to change different set of functions. Okay, the way to use functions, all those things, you need to change the code. Yeah, different from the Java way. Java way, you do not change the code. You change the parameter part. Okay, the parameter part. Yeah, the code part you do not change. Parameter. Yeah, we pass parameters to the methods of certain classes. Yeah, the parameter part you need to change. Yeah, yeah. So that's the difference. So this question, I remember I talked about in the notes. You can find it somewhere at the bottom. I remember. So this place. I wrote explanation at the bottom part of that slide. Yeah, and also this part. This part I talk about, the items you need to make the change. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So for this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah. A few students missed this one. The answer is B. Yeah, because here we are talking about SQL standard. Yeah. So the SQL standard way. Yeah, but I can understand why quite some students select option A. Yeah, there is some reason. Yeah, because one student asked me the question. Yeah, let me understand why several students picked the first one. Yeah, because if some students use the online tools to run SQL commands, yeah, that's the situation. Yeah, using online tools, yeah, to run your SQL commands. Yeah, because for the online tools, those tools are built on top of the SQL. Okay, yeah, on top of the SQL. So yeah, the standard part, SQL standard. Yeah, so you have a SQL standard. Yeah, but those tools built on top of it and add some more features, right? Yeah. Yeah. They can add more features on top of the SQL standard because they want to make their users have better experience using their tools. So you try to minimize the problems when you use the SQL editors. Minimize the problems. So here, this is one special problem they can minimize. Because you declare one particular column, the data size up to 1,000 characters. Yeah, then you enter more than. So that's some relatively simple problem. So those online tools, so they can, try to find a way they feel better to help the users to get a better experience. Yeah. So one way, yeah. So here I use the information based on that student send me the response, the experience. Yeah. One possibility, the tool can return error. Yeah. Because the SQL does not return error. The SQL standard, SQL does not. But that online tool can return an error, right? The online tool can check your problem before send it to the SQL, to the DBMS running the SQL. Yeah. So one way to generate error, reject. So you need to fix it. Yeah, you have some errors in this current query. Yeah, rejected. Yeah. So that's one possibility. Another possibility, truncated. Yeah. So still based on the email from that student. then other tools try to be smarter, try to be smarter than, previous one. How to make it smarter? They modify the definition of your table, because your table declare 1,000 characters, but now you use more than 1,000. So then those tools, they modify the definition to make the data size larger such that you can insert your data successfully. So that, but that feature does not belong to the SQL standard, okay? So that's the extra feature from the online tools. So that's the reason you get a, why you select this answer. All right. All right. For this question, the answer 15, correct answer, 15 projections. But most students give me 7 projections. Here, let me explain why 7 is incorrect. Most, almost 90% of you give me answer 7. As I remember, only one student gave me 15 correct answers. 7 are not, 90%. Okay. So here, the 7, the reason they use 7, all right, I guess in this way, because 3 columns, let us use ABC to represent 3 columns. A, B, C, 3 positions, all right, 3 positions, A position, B position, C position, okay, each position you have 2 options, right? So here, each position you have 2 options. You select A or no selection. Space character, nothing, okay? Empty. So the second position, you have B or none, okay? C or none, okay? Each case you have 2, 2, 2, 2. So then they multiply these 3 times, equals 8. But one case should be removed because you select nothing, right? Empty. That's not a valid projection. So they use 8 minus 1 equals 7. So this way is not correct. Okay. The reason is miss that order in information. We know for projection, the definition, the order matters. When you count, the order matters. So here, 3 position, because you fix the first position, you can only select A or nothing. Second position, you can only select B or nothing. Third, C or nothing. That's too restrictive. Because A could appear in the second position, right? B could appear in the first position, right? So you didn't count those cases, okay? You didn't count those. So here to list specifically, one field projection. First, you need to list all the one field projection. There are 3, A, B, C. These 3 one field projection. Then 2 field projection. Okay, you have 6 here. 2 field projection. A, B, A, C. Starting with A, then starting with B, B, A, B, C. Then starting with C, C, A, C, B. Okay, you have 6. Right? All the order, possible orders. Then 3, another 6. Okay, start A, B, C. Okay, A, C, B. Starting with A. Okay, Then starting with B, BAC, BCA, okay, and two more, starting with C, AB, CBA. Okay, yeah. So all the possibilities, right? Yeah. So this case you have 3. This case you have 6. This case you have 6. Yeah. 6 plus 6 plus 3. You have 15. You have 15. Order. Yeah. So do not miss the order. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So that's this question. Yeah. Then the last question of homework assignment, last concept question, assignment number 2. The answer is 3. Yeah. Now let me explain. First, let me explain the auto increment. Yeah. The primary key. Yeah. So in class, I didn't explain this auto increment. Oh, what's wrong? Yeah. So this auto increment type primary key. What's that? Yeah. Auto increment, yeah, from its name. Yeah. But in class, I remember I mentioned a little bit, but I didn't write down things. Yeah. So that's why some students couldn't find in the notes. Yeah. So first, you need to declare an auto increment primary key. Yeah. First, this feature is for MySQL. Okay. Yeah. For other DBMS, no such feature. Okay. For Oracle, no this feature. Yeah. So only for MySQL. And for MySQL, when you declare auto increment, then when you enter your data, you do not need to say anything about this primary key. You leave it blank. You do not do anything because auto increment. The key values are generated automatically by the DBMS. Okay, so the first time it uses 1 as the primary key value. Second, 2, yeah, auto increment 3, and so on. Yeah, and okay, yeah, some number. Yeah, incremental. Yeah, increase by 1 each time, and this one is used as the primary key. Yeah. All right. Then the properties. I will explain why this type of primary key is useful. Yeah. All right. All right. Then they are internal. Yeah. For internal usage. What's that? Internal usage, not external. Because this part does not belong to the business data, original business data, right? Yeah. Business data. Original business data does not have this part. Okay. So this is some additive primary key used for convenience. Yeah. The reason, so why people use this for convenience? Because there is some reason. So for convenience. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So for internal usage, so the programmers, when we write the code, we can access this primary key, but the users cannot see. Okay. When the user look at the business data, because this part does not belong to the business. When a user look at the business data, so this primary key does not appear because That's it is created internally for internal usage. So not for the users. Okay, the users, they do not need to know the internal things, right? Yeah. Yeah. And why? Why? It is also very useful. Yeah, very useful. Now I can point out. All right. Think about if you do not use this auto increment primary key, sometimes you cannot identify your rows because your rows could have duplicate rows, right? When your rows have duplicate rows, you can never find appropriate primary key. No chance. Yeah. But you need to identify. You need to identify your rows. Then you use this auto increment primary key. You can identify. Okay. Yeah. Even the original business data, this table contains duplicate rows, but after you add auto increment primary key, you can identify because the key values for this field unique, right? You can, first thing, first convenience is you can identify the rows even if the original table contained duplicate rows. Okay? Then very convenient. If you want to edit row by row, now you have ID. Okay, you have ID you can use to do the editing. Otherwise, how do you edit different rows, right? If you do not have primary keys, how do you edit different rows? So that's why I said for convenience. Yeah. All right. So then, yeah, something else. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much the main reason, yeah, about this one. Okay. Yeah. So why we use it? Here I mentioned that because when we enter the data, we do not need to include this one, right? Yeah. So the primary key, yeah. That you can assume there is one column in this 15 column table. One of it, it's the auto increment. So you do not need to provide a value, right? Yeah. So you provide data for 6 columns. Then there are four of them default value. Default value you don't need to provide. Okay. So the 4 default values will be used. Then k columns you allow null value. Okay, null value. So you don't need to provide. So null values could be used. Yeah. Then there is 1 for auto increment. Okay. Yeah. Auto increment you don't need to provide value. So DBMS will generate appropriate value for it. Okay. You add up, you get a 14. Then your K is 3. Okay. So that's the background. That's auto increment. Yeah. Very useful. Yeah. Yeah. Very useful. Yeah. All right. All right. Next, I need to talk about query questions. Yeah. Query questions from 2 assignments. I pick a few. Yeah. Yeah. So let me point these questions out. So then in your midterm, you try to avoid this kind of errors. All right, the first one, is a small, but I noticed several students have this question. For example, use the like operator. Like operator, although the result is correct. Okay, if you use like operator in this way, the result is correct. Yeah, but it's not the best answer. Yeah. So why I mean the best? Because when you use like, pattern matching thing, it is not as good as the equal sign. Equal sign. Okay. Yeah. So if you use equal sign, you do direct comparison, it will be faster. Okay? Like, because pattern matching, it will use more complicated algorithm. Okay? Yeah, the pattern match uses its own internal algorithm. Yeah, you need to do more work than just direct comparison with equal sign. Yeah. Equal sign, no algorithm needed, right? The basic operation, direct comparison. So that the fastest possible. If you can use this simple way, then do not use a more complicated way. Yeah. The more advanced, complicated, only when you need them, you use, okay? Because the overhead part, relatively big. Yeah. Yeah. When you use more features, yeah, because like regular expression, you need to use more features. Then the overhead part is relatively big. Equal sign, the overhead part is minimal, right? Because simplest, you do not need a lot of overhead part. Yeah. So this is one thing. Another thing, one student used the regular expression, the similar problem. Okay, although the result is correct, result is correct. Yeah, yeah. I mean, for our current question, yeah, is correct, but still you need to use more overhead, right? This operator, the preparation part, you need more resource, right? Yeah. So that, from that point of view, it is not the best solution. Okay, equal sign is the best solution. Yeah. So you need to consider all the factors, not just the correct result, not just the correct result. Yeah. Yeah. But in another situation, if you compare these two, the like way is better than the regular expression way. Like, because like operator is simpler than regular expression, right? Regular expression more advanced than like operator. So you need more overhead in the regular expression way than the like operator, right? Yeah. And also, like if you do this way, you match exact Mexico. But if you use regular expression, you match the string containing Mexico, right? Before Mexico, you allow some other characters, okay? After Mexico, you also allow some more characters. So that's also different. Okay, yeah. Yeah. But here, just to let you know. Yeah. Yes. Some students, yeah, have this kind of problems. Yeah. Next time, improve. Okay. Yeah. Improve. Yeah. All right. Then next example. Yeah. This one I mentioned before. Yeah. Yeah. Here I talk about another time. The problem is, yeah, between 30 and 40, we need to use the robust way. Remember? Yeah. Because the way here, oh, sorry. Oh, why you cannot see? Here, sorry. Oh, something is wrong. So you can see here, yeah, but the Zoom size students. Oh, okay, yeah. The Zoom size, oh, here I got the internet unstable. Yeah, room size. Oh, okay, yeah, now it's very slow. Yeah. Yeah, so the internet, very slow. All right, so now you can see it. The problem here is because you use the specific data. When time changes, you need to change your query, right? So that's not good, okay? So we don't want to do that. So our principle is we want to keep the same query even when time changes. Yeah. Same query. We do not need to modify it. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. I will post the answer. So here I do not need to give you the right answer. Yeah. Yeah. After class, I will post the answer file. Yeah. All right. The next one. Yeah. Next one, I noticed some problem because do not contain. Yeah. Some students, when they do questions with this negation information. So they didn't use the right way for the negation part. Yeah. Do not contain. Do not contain, we have that not operator, right? Not, that one is useful. Not reg exp, that one. So in this example, it represents the negation directly, okay? Yeah. So here you can see inside the bracket, negation, not digit, non-digit, do not contain any digit. Then represent, want to represent from beginning end, non-digit. That logic, I can see that logic. But you also need to do something at the end, right? Yeah, after, okay? Then you also need to, you know, do put a star, right? Yeah, because you need to repeat this character many times. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So although you can make it, right? Based on this logic, you can make it. Yeah. But not as good as you use not operator. Yeah. Here. The same, so you can write a query in many different ways, but you want to use the best way. Not reg exp, then containing one digit, okay? Because one digit is not allowed, right? Yeah. Even one digit in the string is not allowed, okay? Yeah. So you only need to put one digit there, okay? Before that digit, anything. After that one digit, anything, okay? Anything in regular expression, you do not need to say anything, right? You leave it, leave nothing, put nothing there, okay? Yeah, because we do not say anything, then anything can match the part before this pattern, okay? Yeah, yeah. That rule is different from the like operator. Like operator, you have to use that percent sign, okay, before that specific pattern. Yeah. So if you have something, you need to put that percent sign. Okay. Yeah. But here, regular expression, the syntax is different. Yeah. If you leave nothing, that means anything can be placed in space. Okay. Yeah. So because I noticed some students, messed up. Okay. Like way, regular expression way, messed up. Yeah. All right. So this one, let me look at the time. So yeah, because I try to complete all the questions. Yeah, I think I have enough time to complete all the questions. Number 22. Yeah, customer address at least one digit, at least one in the middle. Yeah, the problem is in the middle, right? Yeah. So how do we understand in the middle? So before this pattern, there is at least one character, right? After this pattern, there is at least one character. That's the meaning in the middle. Okay, yeah, that's our understanding. So, yeah. So in that way, but I saw some students use not the best way to represent that in the middle thing. All right. So for this example, yeah. So this digit is in the middle. Okay. Yeah. In the middle, then repeat it one or more times. Yeah. It's okay. It's not wrong, but not necessary, right? Yeah, not necessary. That plus sign, because we only need to make sure this string contains one digit in the middle. That's enough. How many? At least one is good enough. Yeah. So we don't care how many, right? Here. Yeah. So that plus sign, but it's not wrong. Yeah. Then before that, yeah, alphabet, one alphabet character repeated plus one. Yeah. This is not as good as, because the dot, right? Dot means every character. Every character, then plus. Do you need a plus? Here's the question. Yeah. actually you don't need a plus, right? So actually a better way. At least one character before the digit pattern and at least one character after the digit pattern. Okay, yeah. You don't need to repeat multiple times because before this character, anything is fine, right? Based on the regular expression syntax, if we do not say anything, anything could appear in front of that dot character. Yeah? And we don't need to say anything, right? But we need at least one character before it. Okay? Otherwise, nothing could happen. Yeah. After also, yeah. After this dot, anything could appear. Yeah. So here, what I mean is, when there is a better way. Okay? When you write your answer, because there is improvement. Okay? Better way. Yeah. Simpler, yeah, but represent the pattern better. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's this question. Yeah, then another one, yeah, one student gave this one. Then, because the problem of this answer is, yeah, mixed like, yeah, percent sign, yeah, that's for the like operator. Then this digit, this is regular expression way. It's not in like operator, we do not use this pattern, right? Yeah. Like operator, it's very rough. Okay, the pattern representation very rough. Yeah. It does not have the precision of the regular expression. Yeah. If you want to represent a pattern in a precise way, you need to use the regular expression. Yeah. So here, yeah, I saw many students use the mixed way. Okay. Yeah. Try to separate. Okay. Yeah. So don't repeat this kind of errors in your midterm. Yeah. Because it's pretty common. Okay. Yeah. Pretty common. Yeah. Yeah. For this kind of errors. Yeah. Yeah. Another one. Yeah. This another one. Right. Yeah. Yeah. A few minutes. I try to complete the remaining questions. This one, not wrong. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This answer, not wrong. Yeah. But it could be simplified. All right. Based on our, understanding from the previous discussion. Now we can improve this answer. First, one digit in the middle. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah. One digit. That's good enough. Then before it, yeah. Before it, so this part, yeah. So you see, it tried to represent things from, all the way from beginning to this pattern. Yeah. But you have a simplifier. You just use one dot. One dot to replace. Relatively complicated pattern. Yeah. One dot. Yeah. Just one character before it. Then other things you do not need to represent, right? Other things you do not need to represent. Anything could be placed before this dot character. Okay? Yeah, so here what I mean, you can simplify it. Yeah. It's not your answer is wrong. Yeah. Just yeah, similar thing after. After you only need one dot, okay? Yeah, the remaining, leave it nothing. Okay? Nothing means here, nothing after this dot, anything. Nothing after the dot means anything after the dot. Yeah. Anything can match nothing, right? Anything can match nothing. That's the, syntax for the regular expression. Yeah. Yeah. Here, I just want you to write the best queries, yeah, best representations, simplest way to get your thing done. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So then I have a few questions. Yeah. I will complete. Yeah, because the homework assignment number 2 are not many questions. I just talk about a few. Yeah. So this question here, main problem is so one problem. Yeah, I want to point it out. Yeah. So this error also sometimes several students have the question, just the field name, not exact as the one in our database. Yeah. Because the real field name should be MGR_SSN. Okay. Although it's a small problem. Okay. Yeah, it is small, but you should write the correct field name. Okay. Yeah. But this problem appears frequently. Yeah, many students. So you not using exact field names. Yeah, relatively small. So usually, when I see the question like this, I took 1 point off, 1 point off. But the next time you use the same way, I will not take another point off. Okay, only the first appearance, I take 1 point off. Second time you use the same way because I assume, because that's the same error. Yeah, the small error when you repeat, this is very small error. Okay? But when you repeat, I do not count multiple times. So I only for your whole answers, I only take 1 point off for errors like this, very small error. Okay, yeah. But you try to avoid that. So that's one possibility. Yeah. Then this question also very common. I want to, so many students, because they confused supervisor and a manager. Supervisor and a manager, they are different concepts, right? Why so many students treat supervisor and a manager the same thing? Probably from the business point of view. Yeah. But in our database, they are different. Okay. Supervisors and the managers, they are different. Okay. Because there are some non-manager supervisors. How about that? Yeah. There are quite some non-manager supervisors. So you cannot equalize these two concepts because they come from different tables, information. Supervisor from employee table, manager from department table. Okay, yeah. So you use different tables, but many students get confused. Okay? Supervisor, manager, messed up. Yeah, yeah. So this problem relatively big. Yeah. So then, so for this one, to describe supervisor, the students use the supervisor is that's not good enough to describe supervisor. So actually the student realized, so put a comment, only top level supervisor, not the manager, okay? Yeah, because the manager and the supervisor, different concept. So actually it's top level supervisor concept. Okay, top level supervisor concept. Yeah, all right. But we need later we have some question. We need all the supervisors, not just top level, right? If you use this way, you only get a top level supervisors, right? Because lower level supervisor, those supervisors, they have their own supervisors, right? Several levels. Those supervisors, they have their own supervisors. Okay, several levels. So when we say supervisor, you should use a different way to. Do not use this not an all way. Not an all way is not good enough to represent the supervisor, right? Yeah, be careful on that. Yeah. All right. The supervisor, yeah. So you use two tables. Yeah. If the supervisor field, the value in the supervisor field could tell you the supervisor, right? Yeah. It is a different way. Yeah. All right. So this question, First supervisors, but not the department managers. Yeah. So here, from this question, you should know these two are different concepts, right? Yeah. Yeah. So those students got confused. When you saw this question, you should realize they are different concepts. Okay. Yeah. So here, yeah. So the problem, okay, yeah. So here the problem here is that yeah, some condition is not necessary, right? Yeah, some condition is not necessary. See, yeah, okay, yeah. So except, yeah, right. All right, yeah, okay, yeah. So we will finish soon. Yeah. But here, oh yeah, here another thing is this is not a good way to represent supervisor, right? Yeah. This is only top level supervisor. Okay. So it's not all supervisor. Yeah. You need to represent all supervisor. All right. Yeah. So that you can see the problem. Yeah. Then our last question. Yeah, this one.